This is the Clark family plot. The stone is currently down. It's been like this for a few years. And let's read a history of some of the Clark family from Messina. Henry W. Clark, 1826 to 1912. Cordelia L. Simmons, wife, 1835 to 1914. Walter L. Clark, son, 1853 to 1883. Joseph Clark, born 1797, came to Messina in 1820. He and his wife Mary built a home on the corner of Main and Andrew Street where the Central building is today. Actually, this is out of date. The Central building is actually where the fitness center is in the corner, and the dance studio at this time in 2014. He built the old stone store next door on Main Street and operated it with Colonel Orvis. And the old stone store is long gone, though. It was customary for merchants to take grain in exchange for the goods, and the second story of the building was used as a storage place for grain. There was a large wooden addition at the rear of the store and a smaller addition in the north side, known as the salt room. They had three sons, Horrence, Horatio, and Henry W. Henry W. enlisted in the 106th Regiment, New York Volunteers, as an adjunct to Colonel James of Ogdensburg. He served for 2 years in the Civil War and returned home as a lieutenant. He was described as a fine-looking man who always retained his military bearing. For many years, he owned and operated the sash and door factory and a sawmill business, and served twice as the Messina town clerk. His brother Horatio ran a blacksmith shop and foundry at the corner of Main and Water Street, where the vacant aluminum Slavens building is today. Yeah. We're here at the Cubley family plot, and like most of the cemetery, it's in need of repairs. William H. Cubley, 1833 to 1898. We're going to do that again. I'll cut this. We're now at the Cubley family plot, and it's in need of repairs, like the whole entire cemetery. Cubley, William H. Cubley, 1833 to 1898. Martha, his wife, 1835 to 1893, wealthy. His mother, 1795 to 1881, and, excuse this pronunciation if I pronounce it right, Minerva, his second wife, 1849 to 1828. William Cubley was born in Windsor, Vermont, and came to Messina at a young age. At the age of 20, he set out in himself as a carpenter apprentice for 10 years. In 1865, he began business as a real estate broker, furniture manufacturer, dealer, and undertaker, erecting the several buildings on the lot south of the old White's Hotel on Main Street. In fact, I live in the building location where the Cubleys erected all their buildings in downtown. He manufactured hearses. A built-in carriage hearse at the Messina Museum was made by him in the 1860s. This is the Cooper family plot. This stone here and this one. Crawford Cooper, born February 16th, 1812, died December 15th, 1886. Jane, Noel, wife, died November 9th, 1869, at age 54. Lucy, a daughter, born May 22nd, 1853, died October 4th, 1882. Crawford did not follow the trade indicated by his mane, but was a shoemaker much opposed to the extension of the Grand Trunk Railroad from Fort Covington to Messina, as the tracks came near his house and cut the lot into two strips, which he felt ruined his farm. He was one of the founders of the Methodist Episcopal Church at the Racket Point. This is the Judd family plot, and this is Mary Ann, who died in 1853. I'm going to turn the camera over this way to the rest of the Judd family plot, and let's start more of the tour. Gideon Judd, buried in this location with his wife, came to Messina from Rutland, Vermont, about 1820, bringing his wife, 4 sons, and 3 daughters with him in an ox cart. He bought land that had been assessed to Uriah Orvis the previous year. His first task was to clear his land so that trees were cut and burned into huge piles. The ashes of black salts were taken to Hogansburg with mules, and the money obtained paid for the land. It appears he had a general store and did training for his neighbors on his trips to Hogansburg. His sons were named Simeon, Norman, John B., and Silavanus. Hopefully that's pronounced right. John was the first school commissioner in 1836 to 1838, a trustee of the Second Congregational Church, and town supervisor 1838 to 1839. Simeon's first wife was Fanny Livingston, born January 7, 1811, died April 25, 1848. Beside her grave are 2 with no record and a 3rd with no name. Norman, 1816 and 1901, married 3 times. First wife was Mary Ann, died June 8, 1853 at age 63. Daughter Eliza died March 18, 1854, is buried with her. Caroline died September 14, 1859. The next grave holds her 2 sons, George, who died on August 31st, 1865 at age 23, and Royal, who died March 16, 1862 at age 5. She also had 2 daughters. Miss Newton was the 3rd wife and is not buried here in this cemetery. We're now at the Nightingale family plot. Moses Nightingale died November 21st, 1883, age 87. William, 1754 and 1840, and Susan, 1765 and 1829, are buried at Messina Center Cemetery. His wife, Sally Reed, was the D.O. Stephen Reed, and Polly Ackley, who died April 22nd, 1874, at age 72. Moses built a large brick house on the north side of West Hatfield about 1830 and was in possession of that branch of the family until about 1900, when it was sold to the Messina Improvement Company. For a time, it was used as a sanitarium for the patients of Mr. Quinlan, a magnetic healer, who claimed to have great healing powers in his hands and attempted to cure various diseases by massage and manipulation. Also, Abigail Nightingale, D.O. Moses, and Sally died July 11th, 1877 at age 45. And Harvey, S.O. Moses, son of, and Sally died June 10th, 1842, aged 9 years. The daughter Elizabeth married Barney C. Woodward. A short distance away lies the graves of William Nightingale, Moses' brother, 1782 to 1872, and his wife, 1799 to 1865, their son William E., 1831 to 1904, and his wife Olivia, 1825 to 1898. Two unmarried daughters, Florence E., 1861 to 1888, and Eva, 1864 to 1885. This William also built a very large home on West Hatfield Street, which became a tavern known as the House of William Nightingale. The ballroom extended across the whole front of the house, and this room were to gather people from all over the North Country, even from Montreal. It became noted for its good beds and its excellent meals, for preparing wholesome and satisfying food. Stagecoaches brought travelers to drink the spring water. Iron smugglers met to discuss ways of transporting metal, but the lengthy and lively balls were the main events. They began mid-afternoon, dancing the fiddlers and a bass player, shared an early supper. Later at midnight, supper at which time all the ladies changed in more colorful clothing. They then danced until breakfast was served in the morning. The tavern was operated until 1850, until his sons William and Henry told him they would leave home unless he discontinued the sale of liquor. The balls continued until 1887, but when the tavern ceased, Mr. Nightingale gave more attention to his farming. This is the Crawley family plot, or I hopefully pronounced her last name right, Crawley, and Babcock plot. And I'm going to turn the camera here over to the Babcock plot right here, and we'll film from this point and read about the Babcock family and the Crawley family. Royal Crawley, 1838 to 1898, and his wife Julia Crawley, 1835 to 1924, and her son Samuel Crawley, 1863 to 1935, and his wife Jessie Waterbury, 1855 to 1924. Samuel, at age 21, went to Augusta, Wisconsin in order to learn butter making. He returned home to Messina and got a job as a butter maker with the old Diamond Creamery. He later was the receiver weighing milk brought in by farmers for 28 years. Also worked at Alcoa and was a member of the Methodist Church in the Oddfellows. The next plot is that of Edna Crawley. It says D.O. Royley, 1871 to 1926, and her husband Fred L. Babcock, 1871 to 1926. Edna became a teacher and worked as a postmistress for 18 years. She was a great campaigner for women's suffrage and belonged to the WCTU. Fred had a grocery post office at Messina Springs, where Romeo's liquor store is now located. He was known as the meanest man in town. Children constantly played tricks on him, and he was in constant contact with the police, but they never came. He never cheated or tried to hurt anyone, and he was once overheard to say, "I know these kids, and there is not a bad one in the bunch." On Armistice Day, at the end of the war, the kids had a brass band and played the Torment Hymn. He came out with an American flag and said, "Come on in, boys. The treats are on me. As much as ice cream as you can eat." Hope you enjoyed that, Mr. Babcock, that story into history, wherever he is. Well, this concludes the tour for the West Orvis Street Cemetery. I hope you've enjoyed, and thank you for watching.